I would assume, Todd, that there wouldn't be any issue getting up players given, Sidney Crosby coming in with Malkin and then obviously the Canadians with how they deal and their fan base and that support.
One at a time, first of all. Pittsburgh tonight, and assumptions are exactly that, assumptions. We have to make sure that we are, and we have to produce the intensity and the desperation that's needed to compete with these teams. And I didn't think we reached that level against New York. So one at a time. We'll start tonight with Sid and the reigning Stanley Cup champs. That should get your hair on the back of your neck up a little bit and get ready to go.
Todd, from a matchup standpoint, Connor having him go head-to-head versus Sid, if that's what's available, like, do you stick handle around that matchup at all, or are you good to let him go against 87 if that's the way it goes?
Well, 87 is one guy and then 71 is the other. So if we're going through hoops to get Connor away from somebody, he just got to face the other guy anyhow. And in the meantime, they play their lines the way they want to play them. We're going to play our guys. We're going to roll them out there. It's a test for our club. Come playoff time, we can't protect every line, every player. Can't hide guys. We're beyond that now, so let's play. And let's throw it out there against the best and see what happens. And that's what's going to happen tonight.
Todd, I know there's lots of weapons on the Penguins, but if you could just focus on Crosby and Malkin for a second. And is there a difference in defending the two players? Are they two very different players, or are they pretty?
Well, being on two different lines helps them because you usually have a top pair of D-man and a secondary pair of D-man. One gets the top, one gets the second. They are different players. One has a longer reach, a little more size, and reach. The other one is speed through the middle and handles pucks well, but they're dangerous in their own ways. Like, you can go on and describe those two a number of different ways. They're two of the best players in the league. They're lucky to have them, and for us to be effective, doesn't matter who's on the ice. They're going to have to do a job against them and their wingers.
David Desharnais only played 2 games, but are you satisfied with his work so far?
So far we are. Not easy for him to come to a new team. I think there's players that grow up in the NHL. I call them diaper players because you enter the league or the organization as very young players, and that's all you ever know. Once you've been moved once or twice, it's easier to adapt and adjust. And for Davey, he's been fine. He's fit our group really well. Teammates like him to this point, and he's a sharp young man. He picks things up quickly. Obviously, at his size, he didn't bully over a lot of people. It was his brain and his hockey smarts that got him to the league and allowed him to produce at a pretty high level in the past. We're trying to get him back there. And, we only have 6 periods to go on, so we need a little bit more time with him, but we're happy to have him.
Todd, what do you think of a 20-year-old Connor McDavid scoring race with Sidney Crosby? Is there a wow factor for even you, somebody in your position?
It's been done before by Sid and Ovi. I think if we go back to their 20 or 21-year-old days, I think they were both up in that range. So the iconic type players seem to rise to the top. And there is a wow factor, but it has been done before by those types of players. And we just come to expect it from Connor now. He's that talented. He's that committed. Has some down nights, obviously, as all the top players do. But for the most part, he's been able to pull his weight and more. And that's all we can ask of him.
Todd, do you have a thought on just getting Benoit Pouliot back in the lineup and maybe how this break might have hopefully jump-started him or get him going to play the way he's capable of playing?
That's what we're hoping. And we spoke about it yesterday a little bit. We're not beating around the bush when we say he struggled for the season. To this point, he hasn't been able to get things going. And the break, the ability to reset things, to energize your body, to come back fresh, kind of leave the past behind you, is something that we hope he can capture. We need that. We need his help. We know what he can be, and we need that. But tonight, don't just evaluate him on that, is he back and does he have it? Because it's hard to come back after 3-week a break, and we'll look 2 or 3 games down the road to see if he's clicking.
Todd, the Penguins' blue line's got a lot of injuries. They got the group of guys they have been very good at moving the puck, not overly physical. Is tonight a game where you look for certain guys to dump and chase more and want to try to wear them down in the cycle?
Well, we'd like to do that to any team. They're very well rehearsed at breaking out. They've got mobility back there, even with some of their guys out of the lineup, the ones that they brought back in. They've added Hainsey and Streit. Those guys are mobile puck movers that have a lot of poise and have played a lot of games. So it's easy to say, hey, they've got Letang out of the lineup, let's get in on forecheck. The replacement players they've added, they've done a tremendous job. So the task doesn't get any easier, in my opinion. We'd like to spend some extended time in their end, like every other team in the league would like to, but part of that's puck placement and working to get it back with all 5 pieces, not just 3.
Todd, the reason the Penguins are good, though, not just Malkin and Crosby, they're deep at forward. Their third-line guys score goals, their fourth-line guys score goals, and they seem to be able to move people around.
Well, they're, again, yesterday we talked about Sid and Malkin and how dominant and how good they were, but Bonino's coming off a 3-goal game in Winnipeg. That's their third-line center. Matt Cullen plays in every special team situation. He's like our Letestu in our situation. So they're deep down the middle. They've got great production and pace out of their wingers. You don't win the Stanley Cup without being deep, and they're the reigning Stanley Cup champs, so the answer's right there.
Just want to go back to Connor with his speed. He brings the pace of the game to a whole new level. Over time, will you want to take use the speed as probably the primary asset for the rest of your team and make speed the central strategy of your own team, just to model it around Connor?
Yeah, and you're talking about identity, and we'd like to be a fast, hard, and a supportive team. Those are 3 elements that we want to see on a nightly basis. So speed is sometimes misinterpreted in my mind. Like, you can be fast, and to me that's long skating, up and down the rink. Connor's fast. You can be quick. Desharnais, to me, is quick. He can dart from here to there real fast and get in on pucks. So we have to have those elements throughout our lineup. It's not just the long speed and the one-on-one speed, but we want to be fast. We want to be hard, and part of that is that pace. And supportive. We want to win with numbers.
Just wondering if you can give an update on Chris Russell.
I'm sorry, on Chris Russell, be in the lineup tonight. Okay.